This is Things You Might Not Have Heard, and I am Jay Cleveland Payne. And for this Thursday, January 18th edition, 2024, I'm about to present to you yesterday's latest in information, current events, pop culture, and politics. Your go-to supplemental source for both mainstream and unconventional news stories is us right here, and we're going to add you a little context to things you may have missed inside the mix of what's going on. In the queue, we have 8 stories for this morning that give you morning as we record this at 5:50 a.m. Central Time, but whenever you watch it, there's 8 stories in the queue that have been vetted by you as conversational, fairly good stories, and then crafted into the cast we have here. We'll explain that process after we do the headlines, plus give you some extra stuff, some fun stuff. Today, things that will give you a smile at the end. So make sure you stay tuned to the very end of the broadcast for today. Our website is thisisaconversationproject.com. More details on what we do every single day for the Conversation Project. And of course, you can email us at whenever you want to with your suggestions, with your points at the conversation inbox at gmail.com. Let's get into the news for today. No particular order of the stories, but this is how they laid out as we rounded up your stories for January the 18th, 2024. The first headline for the morning reads like this. Catherine, Princess of Wales, in hospital after abdominal surgery. The castle, the royal family, the program, or whatever they call that thing over there, had to admit that there's some issues going medically. Now, one, the Princess of Wales, that being Catherine, is in the hospital for some abdominal surgery. Something that was already planned, something that was happening, but it'll take about 2 weeks for her to recover. They're letting us know this because A, she's not doing royal duties for 2 weeks because she's in recovery, and B, King Charles III is about to go under treatment for prostate as well. So we'll have 2 big-time royals who do have a lot of big-time things going on the shelf for a few weeks. So they're letting people know what's happening. King Charles was basically going to be announced anyway, but the 2-week stay, 2-week downtime for Princess Catherine is something that I guess was not expected, or just no one thought about it until they saw what was happening. So we're going to have 2 royals that'll be down for the count for a few weeks because of medical procedures. Now, the rumors going between whether it was a tummy tuck or some other actual serious issue, nobody knows. This was supposedly scheduled. We shall see. Or we may not see. We shall not see, I guess, technically. Let's go to the headline that's the number 2 for this morning. The headline reads, Sophie Turner and Jonas resolve lawsuit as they determine share custody of their daughters. The back and forth between this duo, former married couple, Turner and Jonas, is now resolved. Judge signed off on the consent ordering dismissal of Turner's federal lawsuit to keep the kids under her care. Turner claimed that Jonas had withheld their children's passport and refused to allow them to return to England with her because that's where she's from. The back and forth has been settled. Everything is now in some semblance of order. Shared custody has been filed, and they will hopefully stay true to the documentation, true to the actual case, because it really is about the children at this point, not about them. Although, because we're adults and they're famous, we tend to think it's about them. Headline number 3 for this morning reads, Kevin Smith apologizes for Mallrats tanking Shannen Doherty's film career. Shannen Doherty is all over the news right now as she is battling severe bouts of cancer, and people are flocking to her to social support and just kind of gaze at the thing that was career. Part of her career was a film called Mallrats back in 1995, comedy directed by Kevin Smith. It had Shannen Doherty, Ben Affleck, and Jason Lee in it. And it was pretty horrible. I remember it because it's the movie at the times, and it actually was sort of the movie that sort of launched the second stage of Kevin Smith's actual movies. The first one being Clerks, his inaugural one, then Mallrats, which was able to get Shannen Doherty as a big name to get it happening. Doherty loved the character, loved the script, but it was just a crappy movie, and she believes this is why she didn't get too many more movie roles after that. Now, starring on Charmed sort of helped revive that level and doing TV things as well, but Mallrats didn't do much to help her film career. Kevin Smith apologizes after all these years. The 4th story for this morning, former Arkansas governor receives apology from White House after DNC statement mocks the former presidential candidate. This is candidate Asa Hutchinson, not Huckabee. just in case you're wondering. The White House apologized. That's the current White House that's run by Joe Biden, to the former Arkansas governor, Asa Hutchinson, and a statement made by the Democratic National Committee a day earlier. Essentially, it was a joke popping out about him actually dropping out of the race because somebody was an adult that day and decided, hey, you can't really do this, and we've got bigger fish to fry, i.e. Donald Trump. They apologized directly to Mr. Hutchinson on this one. Of course, still out of the race. He has not endorsed anyone yet. He's looking for an alternative to Donald Trump to vote for, so he's not committing to a vote for Biden either. I actually am a fan of Hutchinson, although I do have some actual personal beef with him from some work we did in radio. He did in radio. I did the work. He kind of gave the attribution to somebody else. Had no idea about him, so I got that going for it. But I actually like Asa Hutchinson, though, like many people, wasn't going to vote for him regardless. Let's go to the fifth story for today, and that headline reads for it like this: Target tests new system as retailers combat long lines, inventory loss. Self-checkout, not quite the darling that people wanted it to be. It is what it is, and we're not getting out of it. It's not going away. But major retailers are looking to reevaluate the self-checkout for customers as experience is bad and inventory loss is bad. Essentially, people aren't necessarily stealing things, although some are, but bad scans and bad things are coming up that are making the inventory system not work so well. AI is going to step in and help this out there. Now, other places are doing this. Target has a new system that they're working out right now to see how it will work for going better. Other places that just basically have less employees will have more employees sticking around watching things in front of the store to help customers get through the checkout process, as opposed to just sort of ignore them. That's other places work. Target helps AI will help them figure out how to fix their problems. The next headline reads: California Governor Gavin Newsom says he won't sign a proposed bill on tackle football for kids under age 12. He won't sign this bill that has been proposed that essentially there can be no tackle football, nothing for 12-year-olds and under, period. There's a squash trying to basically kill tackle football for the youth in all cases. And the question remains on whether it's actually effective or not, whether the actual tackling becomes an issue around the older ages where kids are much bigger and do much more damage, specifically when it gets to the ages of high school, late high school, and college football. But also can they teach and train kids at a younger age to do safer tackles? That's where things are heading. Gavin Newsom is basically saying he's not going to sign this bill if it comes across his desk, if they actually propose it and pass it. The next story at number 7 for this morning. Headline reads: Texas reported athletic department revenue of $271 million in 2023, a record for NCAA schools. Texas made a lot of money. They make a lot of money in sports, and they made a lot more last year. Athletics program had $271 million in operating revenue during the year, up nearly $32 million in total reported from the last year. Athletic director Chris Del Conte said the increase in revenue was due to the new arena, which helped, restricted and unrestricted gifts, which helped, new media rights agreement, which helps, and a big push coming up in the next season where they will join the SEC. Not so much a better league, but a more larger, more profound league in the way of promotion. SEC is because I'm deep in the SEC. I think it's better, but it's one of those things where they're moving out of the way for the smaller schools that are in the current conference, going to a bigger conference, which is also expanding, and playing some big time schools in the big stadiums to make that happen. Big money for Texas, big money coming to SEC, more big money for college football. You can't stop it. And the final story for this morning, story number 8, headline reads, as it loads, bear with me. Club Q shooter will plead guilty to 74 counts of federal hate and gun crimes, while prosecutors won't seek death penalty. November 19th, 2022. The Club Q shooter, Mr. Aldridge, began shooting at a club before being subdued by 2 patrons to stop the shooting. 20-year-old gunman killed 10 black people in the shooting and is facing several hate crimes and firearms charges. Those crimes he is pleading to now happen to be 74 counts on those cases. Before that, he won't get the death penalty. And one of the weirder sort of parts of the story is he's being moved from some facilities because his life is being threatened. And while some people thinking this is a guy who killed 10 people and he's worried about his life being threatened in jail, you still have to live up to those standards, no matter how despicable you think a person is in the prison system. Let's go to our errors, apologies, and omissions section. No real errors and apologies for the day, but we do have one story we didn't have time for, but it's kind of important. ABC News cancels New Hampshire Republican primary debate. Nobody wanted to show up. Donald Trump wasn't showing up. Nikki Haley wasn't showing up. Donald Trump wasn't showing up. Ron DeSantis was going to, debate in the parking lot at Target if somebody showed up, and no one's showing up. So there's no debate this week, as the primary is actually on Tuesday. Running out of time, running out of effort. So you don't get a chance to hear another case, or New Hampshire specifically, cases that will be specific for New Hampshire or newer issues from the prime candidates in the Republican vault. No one of note is still on the ticket other than DeSantis and Nikki Haley. And they aren't of note because Donald Trump is essentially running away with it in New Hampshire right now. Let's move on to our teaser story. This is a story that we have a chance to provide for you tomorrow if you deem it necessary, if you deem it worthy, if you deem it loved enough or hated enough. And this is where we explain the feeds and how stories get picked up for the Conversation Project. It's very simple. You just go to Facebook and Twitter, or call it X if you want to, and follow along on our feeds. That's our links there. And engage in the stories we post every 50 minutes. The engagement score literally tells us what to talk about. Twitter, it is th_conversation. For Facebook, it is This is Conversation Project. Just simply go to those websites, go to our feeds, follow them as we post things every 50 minutes or so, and just engage in the stories. If you like it, love it, hate it. The more score and engagement gets, better chance we have of talking about it the next day. Tomorrow we'll have 10 stories, or 8 stories again, from the top 15 stories of the day. On Monday we have 10 stories from the top 30 stories of the weekend, and that's how it's picked out there. Headline, let's get to that because it's an important part of what we're actually voting on. Another trans candidate in Ohio faces disqualification for omitting dead name. So what's happening in Ohio for disqualifying trans candidates specifically running for office is the fact that they're not putting their actual former names on application forms, on the ballots. You can't vote for them as who they used to be. You vote for them as who they are identifying as now after their transitions, if you will. And Adrian Childrey is a transgender candidate running for office in Ohio House. Her disqualification is because her former name is not on the paperwork, and that seems to be a problem. Do you think this is a problem? Do you want to talk about it more? Engage in the story, and we will bring it up. If it's a top 15 story, it'll definitely be in the 8 stories we'll pull in for tomorrow morning. Take a quick moment to talk about the sponsor we want to highlight today, and that is YouTube TV. If you've not gotten around to cutting the cord yet, now may be the time. And YouTube TV is going to offer you $45 off subscriptions for right now to help you out in that way. So if I give you $50 off the bat, will that help you jump off your cable or jump to from another different service? I think you might be tempted. YouTube TV is the TV service I've been using for quite some time now. It's hard to say which is the best because they have their own issues. It's still, essentially turning into cable, but it's become, as the little quote says, if you can see it on the video, the best live TV streaming service overall, at least for us. It offers us 6 different platforms, 6 different profiles, so 6 people in your family can watch whatever they want to, whenever they want to, and have their own DVR systems that does not get in the way of doing channels. So when my daughter gets onto the TV and doesn't change the actual profile and watches, a bunch of Nickelodeon stuff, I get Nickelodeon stuff in my feed for weeks. So she has her own profile too, in fact, so that she can watch what she wants to and not mix up the things going forward. Everyone in the family has a profile. If I have a profile for the conversation work for more media, so I can watch that stuff without mixing up with my, Hallmark Christmas movies, because I'm a fan, just believe it or not. So YouTube TV also is your home for Sunday NFL direct NFL ticket, because it is, as office, it also has all the actions for overarching sports coverage, and you can get your super coverage with Max and all those things. I guess everything is Max these days. It's kind of hard to keep up with those things, but you can subscribe to have your YouTube TV subscription connect to your other streaming services as well, so you can watch it inside TV. Plus, they have local channels based on where you are. The cool thing about that is your local channel is based on where you are. So if you go traveling someplace and open your phone, you have the local ABC, local CBS there, and you still have your DVR. It has some weird glitches in that form as well, But you can get a chance to check out what's going on anywhere you want to, on whatever device you want to, your big TV as well. Check us out at our link. This is theconversationproject.com/YouTube TV. This is theconversationproject.com/YouTube TV. This is an affiliate link, and it will give you $45 off your first couple of months of service, because we love you like that. Check it out at this is theconversationproject.com/YouTube TV. Let's talk about us for a moment. Let's get some love for the Conversation Project. And it is found at the Conversation Project's website. This is conversationproject.com. When you go to our website, you can find out more details about what we do every single day, how we operate, how we function. Links to the feeds, which we talked about already, links to our various homes online for videos, audios, and just the links and the written stuff coming down. Links to our fun stuff, our shorts that we do on YouTube and TikTok. Now, I guess what could be an actual omission or an apology, we did do a pretty cool, pretty extensive video yesterday that had a lot of tricks and stuff into it that YouTube decided not to show anyone because, I don't know, it was a story that was on all morning yesterday because with nothing going on to really talk about, they played the story that was about the store that sold Trump stuff. And I don't know what the deal was. TikTok showed it for a few folks. It didn't get a lot of love like I thought it would, but YouTube killed it. After a big week of YouTube being stuck in the snow, I was happy about that one. So hopefully we can make that one back up, but we will see going forward what happened there. But you can find those links and find things and go straight to our pages and look for our stuff by going to our website and finding out where we are. This is theconversationproject.com. If you want more insight and want to help us out more, email us at theconversationinbox@gmail.com so you can tell us directly what we want to do, or become a partner. Go to our partnerships page at our website and see if we can connect directly there. Now let's get to the fun stuff. Get wrapped up for the morning and the fun stuff. Fun stuff is always great, and we always start off with birthdays with the funner, the fun stuff. Happy birthday going out to Dave Bautista, who you may know as Bautista, the wrestler, but the actor, the philanthropist, the artist is out there, and he hit 55 years old on the day. You may have seen him in the latest edition of the Glass Onion series on Netflix. You may know him as being Drax the Destroyer from Guardians of the Galaxy, or you may know him as Bautista from WWE, but he's got a pretty good career. He's one of those guys that kind of got started late in the acting game, actually late in the wrestling game as well, but was able to make a name for himself and do great things. Birthday twin for him as well is Jesse L. Martin, 55 years old today, and love for Kevin Costner, who's 69 on this day as well. Today's history lesson goes to 1993, the first time the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday was celebrated officially by all 50 states across the United States. As you remember, with King holiday being celebrated earlier this week, there have been issues with the controversialness of getting the holiday, because the holiday should be controversial, but it was, and it took till 1993, many years after it was put on the books, so that all 50 states actually celebrated this as the actual federal holiday and not celebrating something like Jefferson Davis's holiday because it was a cop-out. The ceremony for the day, for the celebration, goes for Winnie the Pooh Day. You can celebrate and learn more about the real-life World War I bear who inspired the tubby little chubby all-stuffed with fluff bear in the readings of the books from Winnie the Pooh. It is one of those things, it's cake and there's celebration, and there's a reading of the book Winnie happening every single day on this day, and it talks about a screening of Christopher Robin as well to check out on your local feed. So check it out. It is at the Kansas City Zoo and Messenger Bee Park. So if you're in Kansas City and you're not snowed in, check it out today. But today is the day you celebrate the actual life of the bear, if you will, Winnie, the true life bear, not so much the stuffed bear, but it all comes apart. Or you can watch Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. I think that counts. I think that's valid. I'm pretty sure that that's in the same vein. Let's go to our poll question for the day. Hopefully it is spelled properly in this point, because the spell check missed the word genius. Are Donald Trump's speeches at his trials genius political promotion? Because he's not going to rallies as many as he are. He's not going to debates. He's going to trial ceremonies where he doesn't have to be there, and he's talking in the hallways and talking outside and talking all the places and calling witch hunt, witch hunt, witch hunt, things like that. Is it a genius? Is it a genius, or is it just Donald Trump overly posturing like he always does? Let us know by going to our website, clicking the link for the poll question, and letting us know what you think about it. Yes or no? Is this brilliant, or is just Trump being Trump? you let us know. And these poll questions and the answers to the poll questions helps us determine, along with the engagement scores, what stories we actually are going to present to you in the feeds and what stories we'll present to you as well. Thursday, January 18th edition of Things You Might Have Heard is now in the books. You can see the replay if you just got this live at the various places. Sign up for the newsletter. Go to our website for that as well. And just do the things that you do to prepare for another day. Go to our feeds and email us so we know what to do for tomorrow. Stay limber, stay hydrated, stay on task for all the grand things you're here to do, and enjoy your Thursday. One more day of snowed out in Arkansas, although the roads are getting more passable, the main roads, so I think we may have to sneak out and forage for food today. We'll see what happens as temperatures rise for Friday, and then, plummet again on Saturday and Sunday. It is what it is. It's how it works. In the meantime, you stay safe, you stay dry, stay warm, because the winter storms are all over the place, and prepare for a grand, glorious, awesome Friday and a grand, glorious, awesome Thursday if you're watching this live, so you're early in the point of this one. I'm Jay Cleveland Payne, saying thank you so much for being a part of the family. We will see you for another edition of Things You Might Have Heard, the Friday edition, happening on Friday.